Hi, Jeff here at pharmapricing.org. Thanks for coming by. Today we're looking at Plavix, a success story fueled by clinical and outcomes data. Although Plavix was approved in 1998 in the US and the EU, we're going to be looking at it a little bit more recently. We're going to be looking at it in the context of Me Too drugs, and specifically compared to Effient, a drug by Eli Lilly and Daiichi Sankyo. There's a few things to keep in mind, though, before we get started on this analysis. The drugs were compared in a phase 3 trial, and the results were really a mixed pattern. When you looked at the safety data per 1,000 people, Effient had 6 more fatal bleeding events than Plavix, but 23 fewer myocardial infarctions. Now, the result of this was that Effient was launched with a black box warning for this increased bleeding risk, whereas Plavix lacks the same cautionary language. Now, it is worth noting that Plavix does have a black box warning for people who do not metabolize the drug, as it needs to be activated by the liver, but this can easily be tested for. So Effient was launched with this safety warning, and it is worth noting that the safety profiles were different, comparable but different. The FDA indicated as well that Effient was indicated for a limited segment of patients undergoing PCI. This is a pretty small percentage, though. Now, the only other thing to keep in mind is that Effient works faster, but it's priced at an 18% premium, and this is despite the questionable safety profile and the black box warning. So it's not necessarily a surprise then when we look at the revenue data. And now this is gathered from quarterly presentations and full year financial statements from the respective companies. So the data is from the source. And I just put this graph together here very quickly, but you'll see that Plavix versus Effient, they really don't stack up. I mean, look at the differential in sales in 2009 as well in 2010. Now, the astute amongst you will notice that Plavix sales have declined, and that is due to emerging generic competition in Europe. And now that brings us to another issue, and one that apparently I'm not the only one thinking about. The patent cliff and the Me Too era are coinciding, and we can see that here over at BNet from this 2009 article that even though Effient was approved, analysts are saying that 70% of sales are going to go generic after 2011. And I mean, that's something that we're already beginning to see here in Plavix, so presumably time will tell, but perhaps the same is to be expected for Effient. Either way, the point I want to make here is that Effient, the second drug to market, the Me Too drug, has not been a real threat to the commercial success of Plavix. That's the take-home message here today. Please understand this is only a glimpse into an upcoming report that we're doing on the end of the Me Too era. If you're interested in getting the in-depth story, keeping the pharmaceutical pricing edge, sign up for the newsletters on the right. I really appreciate you stopping by. Feel free to make a comment or send me an email, jeff@pharmapricing.com. I am your pricing trusted authority. Please sign up now.